Why do the loudest people chase attention, while the quietest ones command it without saying much at all? You were told that being attractive means being charismatic, funny, or impressive. But real attraction is quieter than that. Today, you will discover 8 socially attractive habits that make you magnetic without begging for validation. Habit 1. Detached from the need for approval. The deepest source of unattractiveness is desperation for validation. When you constantly seek reassurance, your behavior becomes subtly performative. You adjust opinions to fit the room and over-explain yourself to avoid disapproval. This signals insecurity even if your words sound confident. True silent attraction begins when you are comfortable standing alone. Imagine 2 people expressing an unpopular viewpoint. One retracts it immediately after sensing resistance, while the other remains composed and respectful without abandoning their position. The second person appears anchored in something deeper than social acceptance. Detachment from approval does not mean arrogance. It means alignment with your values. Spend time reflecting on what you truly believe and why you believe it. When your decisions align with those convictions, external praise becomes optional rather than essential. When you no longer need everyone to like you, people begin to respect you. Habit 2. Regulate your emotional reactions. Emotional volatility weakens attraction because it signals instability. When anger erupts easily or insecurity spills into visible jealousy, others sense unpredictability. Calmness under pressure, however, feels powerful and reassuring. Imagine receiving harsh criticism in front of others. One reaction might be defensiveness and raised volume, while another reaction might be composed reflection and thoughtful response. The composed reaction communicates internal strength. Attraction is not about suppressing emotion, but mastering it. You feel deeply, yet you choose your response carefully. Between stimulus and response lies a space where your power lives. If you expand that space through breath and awareness, you reclaim control over your behavior. Practice pausing when triggered and observing your feelings without immediately acting on them. Emotional self-control builds a reputation of reliability, and reliability builds quiet admiration. Habit 3. Establish boundaries with quiet strength. Many believe that being liked requires constant agreement. They say yes to invitations they resent and tolerate behavior that drains them. However, silent attraction is rooted in self-respect. When you calmly communicate your limits, you signal that your time and energy hold value. Imagine a friend who repeatedly cancels plans at the last moment. Instead of reacting emotionally, you state clearly that reliability matters to you and adjust your availability accordingly. You neither attack nor beg. You simply stand firm. That firmness commands respect because it reflects inner clarity. To apply this habit, identify one situation where you have compromised your standards out of fear. Express your boundary calmly and enforce it consistently without drama. Consistency transforms boundaries from words into identity. Habit 4. Speak with intention and precision. Words lose value when they are excessive. When someone speaks constantly, their voice blends into background noise regardless of how intelligent they might be. The quietly attractive person speaks less, but every word carries weight. They choose clarity over volume and meaning over speed. Imagine a meeting filled with dominant voices competing for recognition. One individual listens carefully, observes patterns, and finally delivers a concise insight that reframes the discussion. That voice commands attention because it does not compete for it. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius practiced measured speech, understanding that restraint reveals discipline. When your words are deliberate, they feel grounded rather than reactive. Before speaking, ask yourself whether your contribution adds value or merely fills space. If your words do not elevate the conversation, allow silence to preserve your presence. Intentional speech builds an aura of quiet authority that others instinctively respect. Habit 5. Master the art of deep listening. Most people believe attraction comes from speaking well, but in truth, it often comes from listening well. In conversations, many are not present because they are busy preparing their response instead of absorbing the other person's words. When someone speaks to you, they are offering a piece of their inner world. If you interrupt, compare, or redirect attention to yourself, you subtly communicate that their world matters less than yours. The silently attractive person understands something different. They know that being fully present is rare, and rarity creates value. Imagine sitting across from someone who maintains gentle eye contact, whose body remains still, whose attention does not drift toward a glowing screen. You feel heard in a way that feels almost healing. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminded us that we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listening twice as much as speaking is not weakness, but quiet strength. To apply this habit, slow your responses deliberately and allow a breath of space before replying. Ask thoughtful follow-up questions that explore emotion rather than surface detail. When you truly listen, people associate you with the rare feeling of being understood. Habit 6. Become comfortable with silence. Silence makes insecure people restless because they interpret it as failure. They rush to fill every gap with chatter, humor, or nervous explanations that dilute their presence. However, silence is not emptiness but composure. When you can sit in stillness without panic, you signal emotional stability. Picture 2 people on a first date where a pause emerges between sentences. One begins rambling in an attempt to rescue the moment, while the other maintains soft eye contact and a relaxed posture. The second person feels grounded because they are not seeking validation through noise. When you stop fearing silence, you stop chasing approval. That shift alone changes how others perceive you. To cultivate this habit, allow brief pauses during conversations without apologizing for them. Breathe slowly, remain relaxed, and let the moment unfold naturally. Stillness becomes powerful when you stop labeling it as awkward. Habit 7. Move with calm and deliberate confidence. Your body communicates before your mouth ever opens. Rushed movements, restless hands, and constant adjustments reveal inner agitation. Calm physical presence signals inner order. When you enter a room with steady steps and relaxed shoulders, you project composure without effort. When your gestures are deliberate instead of frantic, you appear grounded and centered. Imagine 2 individuals presenting the same idea. One shifts nervously and speaks at a rapid pace, while the other stands steady and moves intentionally. Even before analyzing the content, observers feel drawn to the second presence. To cultivate this habit, slow your walking pace slightly and maintain upright posture without stiffness. Allow your movements to reflect control rather than urgency. Physical calmness reinforces psychological stability. Habit 8. Maintain an air of mystery. In a world of constant oversharing, restraint feels intriguing. When someone reveals every detail of their life instantly, curiosity fades quickly. Mystery is not manipulation, but pacing. It allows others to discover you gradually rather than consuming your story all at once. Consider the difference between someone who broadcasts every achievement online and someone who works silently until results speak for themselves. The second person often appears more confident because they do not chase applause. You do not need to narrate your every move or explain every decision. Selective sharing preserves depth. To apply this habit, resist the urge to over-explain yourself or disclose everything about your ambitions. Let your actions unfold naturally over time. Curiosity draws people closer when they sense there is more beneath the surface. You often try to stand out by adding more, saying more, proving more, yet you still feel unseen. What if the real shift begins when you subtract the noise and refine your presence from within? Quiet magnetism is not a performance, but a discipline practiced daily through awareness, restraint, emotional balance, and self-respect. It reshapes how others see you because it reshapes how you see yourself. Which of these habits will you begin strengthening today? Share your insight in the comments. Like this video if it spoke to you, and subscribe for more timeless lessons on living with strength and clarity. Remember, the calm never compete for attention, yet they are never ignored.